let's get into this Carl Crawford and Meg Thee Stallion type of shit first, because, remember I told y'all, right? And a lot of people thought it was gossipy, right? Hey, this whole thing, which by the way, I get some people's disposition, like, we don't care why they were arguing. Did the nigga shoot him? Cool, I get you on that. But it's important to understand why the night unfolded the way it did, right? Again, Tory's fucking one girl. The girl that he was fucking didn't know he was fucking her friend. They find out at the party. They start arguing. Tory was trying to fuck a third girl. That happened to be Kylie. Kylie sees all these bitches is drunk, kicks them out. They're arguing, moves from the party to the car, arguing. Somehow gun get involved. Shots get fired, right? Here is, I think this is probably the closest confirmation we've got, other than probably like somebody like me saying it. This is Carl Crawford, which is the former label owner for Meg Thee Stallion. He's talking about why Meg smashed Tory behind Kelsey's back. Remember, Kelsey's the best friend. Meg is the artist.
Right. And like you look at the Gunna situation, and then you look at this Megan situation. Right. Do you think people like pick and choose who they? It's almost like if they have all the information, you can see this. Like, okay, the information is here, but they still want to side with her because of maybe popularity, maybe because she's a female, or whatever. Like, do you think people pick and choose which side they play and not look at the actual facts?
Yeah, I think they do, and it's all just about like whatever everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? The whole, if it's your fan base, the media enticing people on what they're doing, stuff like that. But I just think that people just do what they want. Either they like you and want to root against you for whatever reason, and then something happen and they can do it, and or they just enticed by like what they see, the media, and just go with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really be the one.
It's my last Megan. It's my last Megan question. My last Megan question. Then we're gonna go to greener pastures.
Yeah.
Alright. It's been documented that Megan liked to smash her homegirl friends. Do you think she's like jealous of her or something? Why she keep on smashing her homies? Because she smashed a whole bunch of Kelsey's.
Man, for the people that know, man, it's just they.
Hey, by the way, realistically speaking, a lot of people, especially like the females who follow this case, they've encouraged Meg Thee Stallion to, on her comeback journey, to start filing lawsuits like she's Cardi B. Okay? Now I'm going to be very honest about you, or honest about all this. There is so much conversation, and this is just a fact. There is so much conversation behind the scenes about dozens of rappers that Meg, allegedly on the come up, have been intimate with. Like rappers who like with all due respect to them, like I didn't want to say it because like some of them might be like, "Were you talking about me?" Like these guys are not even like these guys don't even have a hit. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like there's a couple niggas who smash don't even got a hit. Like these niggas is like these niggas. Okay, I'm gonna give that name away. Okay, I don't give no names away. Like these niggas, they're not the man among their own group. You know what I mean? Like it's not even I don't know. Fuck. Anyways, the point is, I'm wondering if Meg, speaking of Blueface coming out, and by the way, I'm not trying to shame her. Like, hey, whatever it is. Even though, let's be honest, when we're gonna get out of Wokeville for a second, your sexual history as a woman is going to affect how people in the industry take you serious and how they perceive you. Now, I'm not saying it should affect how they treat you or mistreat you, but that's just the reality. If the word on the street is shorty fucks if you give her 1.5 cup of Henny and she's fucked him, that is going to be something that gets around very quickly in the industry, and you're going to start seeing people facetiously hang out with you because they've gotten the word of mouth that, yo, you trying to fuck this bitch, go get lit with her, she's down. You get what I mean? Now, hearing the conversation they're having, to me, this is confirming what I've been hearing. Because, it's not like I'm hearing this in Independence. If you ask anybody behind the scenes, they all say the same shit. And that's why with even like Blueface coming out and people's like, nah, yo, Meg's gonna be filing lawsuits. Like if these things were like really that false, lawsuits and cease and desist would have been flying. But like, you know, in reality, I believe that nigga Blueface. You know what I mean? I've heard of niggas not even 1/10 as lit as Blueface who told me, like, I was in disbelief. Then I'm like, no, you didn't, nigga. But anyway,
You know, they just want everything. You know what I'm talking about? It's like if they feel like you got that because of they clout, you ain't gonna never meet no Tory Lanez without me. You know what I'm talking about? That's mine. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't finna never you wouldn't be up in this situation without me. Nah, I got, you know what I'm talking about? That's the mentality it is, man. That's you know what I'm saying? And that's what goes on with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is, you know. You gotta understand, shoot, this girl, person you dealing with, man, like this girl Kelsey was, you know, she had COVID at a time when people was dying every 3 to 4 hours.
Chad, this is the same story I told you we keep hearing. She started talking to Tory. She catches COVID. She was moving around with Meg, though. Right? At first, Meg is not sweating it. Okay, now talk to Tory. That's your nigga. She catches COVID, goes back to Houston. Meg starts fucking Tory. And this is why Meg's whole team never knew about the whole thing with Tory. Because Meg used to take private jets and sneak behind her assistants and other employees' backs. And even, at times, her security. So her security didn't even know she was fucking a nigga. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things, allegedly, that when she goes to link with him, she's relying on his security. You get what I mean? So her people are in the dark.
Every day. She could have easily been one of them statistics women right there. But what they was thinking about doing, this woman in COVID, you know what I'm saying? That just show you what type of person you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? This woman could have died. They wouldn't have gave a man. They was somewhere, you know, living it up. You know what I'm saying? This girl back in Houston with COVID. Huh?
You cross out your best friend, goddamn it.
I'm just saying, it's like, damn, like what if she would have died? Like would y'all would have felt bad or anything? But I guess, you know, she don't give a f. Yeah, that's just, I know it sounds like, you know what I'm saying, because I know right now what's finna happen is finna be like a sympathy rollout, you know what I'm saying? And they finna like find clips in this video to kind of crank stuff, you know what I'm saying? And but you know, and so people will be like, how could you be so or say bad things? And I'm not saying bad things. It's just that if this is the only experience that you have from a person, that's all you have to say. If it was something else I could say, I would say that. But it's nothing. You know.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. You ain't gonna find nobody in the industry that will say that. Meg. I'm wondering if that hurts Meg. What do y'all think about that? If the word on the street is that Meg is a thought, let's be honest, right? Like that seems to be in a roundabout way what everybody's describing. Like Meg pretty much is easy or is a thought. Like, do you think that affects her? I mean, she's not making music like she's like Alicia Keys or Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm going to keep it real with you, finding out that, you know, not saying she is, but if I found out that Sexy Red was a hoe, like, I mean, she says she's a hoe, so what's the problem? I don't have a problem with it, right? Like, if I found out the City Girls are hoes, which I guess they're not because they're in, like, committed relationships or they're at least committed side chicks, whatever the case is, I wouldn't be that shocked. Do you think that it really matters with Meg Thee Stallion? I don't know. Anyway, he did talk about, real quick, let me see. He talked about one more thing with Meg, and then we're going to get off of this. Here we go. Yeah, he was not fucking with Meg at all. Hold on. I think this is it.
To us, the guy that I told you was coming to get me out the hood. His son, his name Michael Bourne. Me and him actually ended up playing in the major leagues together with each other. Wow, that's dope. But T Farris was one of those kids with us, and we all looked at that place as like a sorority. I mean, like a what they call it, sorority
like
type of thing, fraternity type
yeah.
thing. Well, we was all like locked in for life because you know we all played in this special league. We were number black kids, like the only little league.
Wow.
Number black kids, no white kids, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's age 9 through 14, so we all was like close to each other. Like we never would have looked at each other in a way like, oh, I would never do this to you. You know what I'm saying? When we all like if one of them walked in walked in the room and he played, he said, "I smoke a Jasper in this time." Man, me and him gonna be like partners immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, what he's trying to explain is that if you don't understand why him and Meg fell out, essentially, which this happens a lot in the music industry, this dude was cool with this other guy named T Farris, right? T Farris kind of becomes like her like day-to-day type of person. He's the label manager, right? But him and T Farris are business partners. T Farris realizes, and this is what happens when a lot of people try to snake people out, it's like, yo, rather than get a fee here, yo, I could get more from Meg if I get Meg away from this nigga and bring him somewhere else, I'll get a bigger role. That's where Roc Nation comes in. So T Farris pretty much like kind of concocts, allegedly, a plan to get in between him and Meg and then convince Meg that she's better off going to Roc Nation, right? And obviously Roc Nation is interested in just signing her directly, right? So this is what he's explaining. So basically it's his own homie that really slimed him out, you know what I mean? But this is the music industry. Your own friend will cut your throat.
Right here. Because, I know, like soon as I retire, like literally, yeah. So I retired.
Carl don't play the radio, boy.
Yeah, man. Every month. And you know what I'm saying? So, because I'm one of them.
T Farris was sleeping on the couch, man.
Nah, he was sleeping in a room. You know what I'm talking about? Nice bed, everything.
I'm triggered. So, I'm getting triggered.
Nah,
man.
For real, man. So I'm sitting there like, hey, man, I'm one of them people, like, my coaches will tell you.
Heartbeat.
I'm a coach. I'm coachable. You get that label. You know what I'm saying? So that means you learn quick. So I took the same approach from baseball. I need my coach to be right here every day. I need to wake up, talking about music, go to bed, during the day, see how you move. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was. And I felt like that would speed the learning curve up. And it did,
Yeah.
So...
So, bruh, just basically,
yeah, man, it was a cold. It was a cold.
That's
man.
Cold, right there. I ain't gonna count that cold.
Yeah, that was a cold one.
And of course,
because he was homeless. You know what I'm talking about? I put him back in the area.
The brother that he's supposed to be.
All right, yeah, he's not really saying as much, but by the way, salute to Ugly Money TV though. Yeah, so I mean, I think the story. I'm not too excited about these stories anymore. We're really beating a dead horse. Like, at the end of the day, Tory Lanez is doing 10 years. At the end of the day, Meg Thee Stallion, whether you consider her a hoe or not, whether you consider her a liar or not, she's going to probably come back and put out music and be successful. Carl Crawford has to go rebuild. It is what it is. Like, we've been talking about this for years. There's no new sides of the story that we're finding out. By the way, speaking of Tory Lanez got denied. He got denied bond. And, well, hold on. He got denied bond for his, he got denied on appeal for bond, right? So, essentially, he tried to get out on bail. They denied him at first, and then he appealed that denial. Again, remember, he's currently waiting for a possibly appeal hearing or a new trial that he could try to, again, prove his innocence, right? Currently, he's supposed to be serving a sentence. He's already in prison, but he's appealing his conviction. Now, in some cases, people could get out on bond while they await the decision of the appeal, whether it's granted or not. Basically, the judges told him no. Okay, he's going to be sitting in jail until at least when his appeal is granted, and then he'll probably try to get it again. If not, let me see. No. If not, he probably just won't be getting out at all. So pretty much the opportunity of Tory Lanez getting out keeps shrinking. All of these things. By the way, the reason why this last one that happened yesterday was a huge deal is that I think I talked about this before. Tory Lanez was asking the judge, like he was asking the judge that already convicted him, scolded him. Also, he accused the judge of kind of being like, biased, right? That judge has no incentive to say, hey, I operated incorrectly during the case, so now I'm going to give you a bond, right? It's like, I think you guys get what I'm saying. It's like the same judge allowed all the evidence to be in play that helped to convict him. Tory's whole thing is that some of these things should have never been let into court. However, Tory's appealing, at least initially, to the same judge. So he gets denied, which, apparently, and I talked to his team, they knew he was going to get denied the first time. The second time, which is the appeal of that, they didn't think he was going to get denied, or they thought they had a better shot at least, right? The reason being is that it was a different judge, finally, that was going to rule on it, but the different judge said the same thing. Like, no, you're going to stay in jail, buddy. Okay? So essentially, if you ask me, I don't think Tory's getting out, bro. I've seen people say he's going to get out in 4 years. I still think he's going to do 5 years at least. You get what I mean? We keep hearing about things that just don't matter in the grand scheme of things. I seen Vlad put up, I had some good information that he got offered 3 years, this and third, and he had turned it down. Let me show the Vlad tweet. Which, by the way, to me just doesn't mean anything, right? Like, again, I don't think his whole thing was the years that he was going to potentially spend in jail. The whole thing with Tory was that if he takes anything that's a multi-year sentence, he's going to get deported. That's the only thing, right? So that's why he kind of went to war. Not saying that it was the smartest idea, but that's exactly why he went to war. Let me see if I can find what he was saying. Tory. By the way, also, I have a podcast or interview with Vlad that's now circulating, so you guys can go watch that too. Okay. Vlad says, remember when we wrote the news that Tory Lanez was offered a 4-year plea deal? I spoke to someone who was working with him during that time, and they told me it was actually offered a 3-year plea deal initially, which he turned down, only to end up with 10 years. Again, we got to keep in mind 2 things. Any plea he would have taken would have been like a Chris Brown plea. What does that say? It's pretty much open and shut that you're going to have to admit to doing these things even though you're maintaining you're innocent, right? In the case of Chris Brown, he did beat up the chick. Tory's saying he ain't shoot her. But any plea he took, he would have to admit shooting her, okay? Which, by the way, you might be like, who cares if he admits it or not? He's going to get less time. His career's done, right? Like, he's not Chris Brown. Like, niggas ain't giving him a chance. It's done, right? Secondly, anything over a year, he's going to get deported. So that's pretty much how that kind of played out. And, yeah. So, yeah. Not much new information on this shit, man. We just kind of keep going, it's like these ancillary characters, like Carl Crawford still mad at Meg. I don't know why he would be so mad at Meg if they settled, but I would feel like he has a interest in not seeing her doing well after leaving his label, maybe, right? Which I gotta imagine that this interview was done probably before the settlement, because usually in most settlements, there's usually a clause that says, yo, you don't talk bad about me, I won't talk bad about you. Or some type of NDA like, yo, just shut up about that, I'll shut up about this, let's just move on. But they came to a settlement, and they both seemed kind of pleased. Anyway,